Today, as we start on chapter 1, verse 10, we come to an interlude. In the next few minutes, we want to look at elements of the Old Covenant vis-a-vis the New Covenant and why it offers much more in reward and in judgment. The first point, we see that the one who institutes the covenant, the New Covenant, is better. For us, it calls us to hear and to obey its call because in it is salvation. What is offered, the thing that is offered in the New Covenant is a much more effectual power to save, and the one who administers it will ultimately reward those who obey. And at the same time, the warnings are much more dire to those who would reject it. Hebrews 12:25 says that, "See that you do not refuse who is speaking, for if they did not escape if they did not escape when they refused him who warned them on the earth, much less will we escape if we reject him who warns from heaven." Secondly, the New Covenant serves as a call for endurance to all who would abide in it. That the message of abiding in the New Covenant is also reiterated to them. Just like the nation of Israel, who are in a time of imminent exile and captivity, the New Covenant reminds us that God disciplines those who are his, for God treats us as sons, and that he would not give us or abandon us over to our sin. It is for discipline that you have to endure, for God is treating you as sons, we read in Hebrews. For what son is him whom the Father will not discipline? If you are left without discipline in which you have participated, then you are illegitimate children and not sons. I think even as we consider the call to endurance, I think about it in two ways. There is a call to endurance as individuals where we are to persevere and to persist in our salvation. True faith perseveres. One who has come to a faith in God will ultimately persevere, even as we quote in Philippians that Paul tells us to work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it is indeed God who works in us. That as we face the discipline or displeasure of God for one reason or another, in our course, on our journey, in our Christian life, we are called to endure. We are called to endure because this is a faith that leads us to enjoy the promises of God as he keeps his covenant, even as we obey him. I believe we should read the message of Hosea in chapter 1, verse 10 to 2:1, with great hope that God is always working in his people to work out repentance, to work out restoration in them. That indeed we have with us a new covenant that is able to save us to the uttermost, all who come to God in faith, and a call that we must always endure in our Christian duty to the end that God will be glorified in his people and he'll be able to work out a great and a mighty work in them, even as they follow him in enjoying the fruits of obedience that have been claimed to us in his word.